Well, so when we were happy, we ate. When there was sadness, we ate. A celebration, we ate. A birthday, we ate. Everything was wrapped around food, and we wanted to please our parent as young kids. And so the combination of pleasing my dad as well as me when I became 12 years old beyond, using food to deal or not deal with my molestation experience caused me to get to where I was. And so it was until I learned the root causes that I was able to take that shift and begin to heal my life through food.
First, I want to thank you for your vulnerability and sharing your experience, because I think that there are so many people that may be listening that can relate to using food to mask some other things in their life, whether it be molestation or other various kinds of abuses or post-traumatic stress or. We in America love our food. I too am guilty of this as well, but I think you have tied together a common thread in why we do seek solace in food or food addiction. And we've had other guests on here talking about that, but you really illuminated that beautifully. We comfort ourselves. We give ourselves that hug and acceptance through the food sometimes. So you were using it. You decide to go and get this surgery. You are now shifting. And some people would say they would stop there, Debra. They'd say, well, I have had the surgery. I'm now down to, what was your lowest weight after your surgery?
Well, for anyone that's not familiar with any kind of serious surgery like that, it's actually removing organs from where they were at the end of the esophagus that was attached to the stomach. So they detached it, built a little pouch to hold the food so it controlled portion. And then you digested it directly. So it was a whole bypass. And when you go through that, your body was in shock. So for the first 2 years, my lowest weight was like 150. I looked anorexic, like I went to the opposite direction. But that's your body's way of adjusting. It takes time. And now this many years later, in 2017, 20 years later, I am still 120 pounds off of that highest weight. I am where the DNA is for all the females in my family. And one thing you have to learn, too, is you can't fight your DNA. So in my family, the average female is a 12, 14. And so I am at a comfortable part of my life. I eat well. I'm healthy. I have no more pre-diabetic dispositions, no more cholesterol issues. Physically, mentally, and spiritually, I have found that Ayurvedic balance so that I can live a more healthy, sustainable life. And that's where it's at, folks. Don't listen to what society says you should be. Learn to know your body, show your body love, trust your body, and be appreciative, and make sure that wherever you are, that's the place where you're the most comforted. It doesn't mean a specific size. It means what's your comfort, what's you're feeling best. And that's something that I think we lack in America. We lack that self-love and learning that wherever we're at our healthiest point, that's a good spot to be in.
Wherever we are at our healthiest point. And there are many tools and tricks of the trade to get us there. And I don't mean pills and potions. I mean the natural things that really Source God Universe has placed on this earth for us to partake of. What kind of herbs can we utilize to help alleviate some of our daily stresses, or maybe even help facilitate some weight loss if that's what we're looking to do?
Very good. One of the things I want you to know, guys, is herbs will take the place of any processed foods in a box. And let's think about that. When you buy something in a box, if you ever read the ingredients and get yourself into that practice, if you have not done so before, begin now. If there's more than 5 ingredients, you'll see words that you don't even know how to break down. They have 4 to 8 syllables. Mm-hmm. Well, that's an MSG, or it's a preservative. It's something added to give flavor to food that has no value to your body. So let's start there. So when you replace things in a box and you start making choices where you buy fresh, organic food whenever possible, one thing I'd like to share with all my audience and clients is to try to practice the word soul in your life. Soul meaning seasonal, organic, unprocessed, and local whenever possible. If you practice soul in your life, and I'll say that one more time, seasonal, organic, unprocessed, and local. If you pick that up and carry that as a torch for a lifestyle change to transform your health, I promise you, you will begin to see a difference almost immediately. So one of the things I want to share with you is the benefits of herbs. Basil in the garden. And let me first say, if you haven't planted a garden, just know that there are many healers on the earth like me that are helping each person that's listening know that a garden does not have to be conformed to anyone's idea. Your garden can be designed through the help of people like myself or other urban farmers. But even as small as a back patio, you can have a functional food garden. So guys, the sky's the limit. There is nothing against you building a garden in any space. So just know you have support out there. And think about things like basil. When you plant basil in the garden with tomatoes and you use basil in your food, not only does it wake it up, but you can make pestos, sauces, salad dressings. And when you plant it in the garden with tomatoes, it also works as a pesticide in a natural form. It repels flies and mosquitoes. And then when it comes to chives and green onions, you want to plant them maybe in rows with carrots. And they always wake up your dishes. You can use it in anything from garlic to dips to dressings, casseroles. Dill is another beautiful herb that also deals with inflammation, and it stops you from having any kind of clogging in your arteries. Things like dill that you'll want to plant in the garden with cabbages. They're used for pickles. You can use it for aroma, for taste. It's a strong dill. It's a very strong herb, just like cauliflower and cabbage and turnips. So you'll definitely want to use it in your dishes. I don't know if you guys have ever tried fresh dill in a chicken salad, but amazing.
Yes.
Talk about amazing.
Amazing.
So, absolutely amazing. Mint is another wonderful herb. Not only does it help with digestion for those that have any kind of digestion orders, but plant it in your garden near cabbage and tomatoes, and it takes away the invitation for white cabbage moths to come and invade your garden and your space. Oregano, another great companion to all vegetables. Parsley has now had studies shown, and you can research, it sweeps the metals and the toxins out of your brain cells, which are now possibly being linked to things like dementia and Alzheimer's. So as you can see, all these herbs have a wonderful way to heal us and prevent disease.
I heard that cilantro has a similar effect as well with the heavy metal cleansing. Cilantro, cucumber, and celery.
Absolutely. And cilantro is a parsley. It's in the parsley family.
Absolutely.
So any parsley absolutely have that benefit. I got to tell you, though, one of my favorite is rosemary. I have my own huge rosemary bush.
Why do you like it so much?
I think it's the piney smell, because it reminds me of growing up in the woods as a young girl, and the flavor when you add it to poultry or lamb or any kind of game meat, even goat, it just gives it this new twist. It's just amazing. So rosemary and sage. And for those of you that don't know a lot about sage, I do want to share with you an American Indian custom. Not only is sage a detoxer and a healer, but sage, as when it's smudged and it's wrapped around any kind of stick, when you burn it, even back in thousands of days ago in Israel, they would smudge over the houses to protect the family. So sage is not only a wonderful thing to eat, but it also clears negative energies and makes sure that your home is protected from any kind of negativity. So it's important that you know what herbs can do to support not only mind, but also body and spirit. And sage is just one of those kind of herbs, as well as tarragon. Tarragon is also an herb that is now linked to important things of antitoxins as cleaning out our cells and stopping the awakening of cancer cells. So there's so many great things that you can do with herbs, family. So if you haven't ever grown a garden, I'm going to share with you to start with herbs. Let that be where you begin.
That's a
and
great
you'll always
place.
Move forward. Isn't that a great place for spring?
It really is a great place for spring. All things bright and beautiful. New things all growing in accordance with this beautiful new season we're transitioning into. One of the things, too, I wanted to mention about herbs is that if you don't know what herb to plant, or if you don't know which one you like, our bodies are always communicating with us. And there have been studies shown that the herbs that you are attracted to or repelled from are the ones you may or may not need. So, and even in regards to spices. So my mother really cares about cloves. She loves it. I don't care for cloves so much. But when I researched, I found that there was a certain component and property in it that helps things enhance for her. I am kind of attracted to rosemary. My partner is not attracted to rosemary. So pay attention to what you like and what you don't like when you are eating your food, or if you're happening to be in a home garden center and you walk by a row of beautiful herbs all freshly dewy and watered. See what you're attracted to, because it may be the very thing that your body needs. Some people can't stand cilantro. Cilantro is a very controversial herb. Some people adore it and can't get enough of it in their system. And that's because it is doing something that elevates their vibration, and there's at a cellular structure and a cellular level that really helps to raise the vibration. So pay attention to what you're attracted to, as with all things, but the same thing goes to herbs. Now, Debra talked about gardening, and I wanted to say this to you. We don't all have the beautiful space. I have been to Debra's garden, and we don't all have the beautiful space to do what I've seen you do, and I know that you can do it anywhere. For those of us that do not have access to acreage or land, are there any suggestions for bringing the outside in?
Absolutely. There are many suggestions for bringing the outside in. But before we move that part of the conversation forward, you brought up a really good point, Monette. And that is that we don't know sometimes what herbs actually match our body type. So for a moment, I'd like to share with you, in Ayurvedic medicine, there is something called your constitution. And there's three kinds of body types. There's a Vata, a Pitta, and a Kapha. So for anyone that's interested, you can go to Ayurvedic Dosha Quiz. So there's a quiz online where you can take the quiz and just research Ayurvedic, Ayurvedic, dosha, which is these body systems, these body types. Your constitution is your dosha, D-O-S-H-A quiz. Take the quiz, find out your body type, and there in the description is going to be the kind of foods and herbs and things you're attracted to that matches your body type. And that has to do with everything for balance in the body. We're all either air, fire, or earth signs. So respectfully, we're going to have different desires and likes and dislikes. And it's going to match what we are, whether we're an air sign, fire sign, or earth sign. So thank you, Mo, for bringing that up. And I wanted to share that good information. Do that for yourselves, guys, and really take the time to find out your body type, okay?
Very good information. Very good.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes to building the garden, there is no such thing as a right or a wrong, except when it comes to how you grow it. So if you have a small apartment with just a little balcony, you can perfectly grow a garden in pots. You can have a pot garden surround your whole balcony, and you can fill these pots with tomatoes, which also grow up a trellis. You could put trellis in your pots, cucumber. Also, use your balcony. Your balcony has for the most part, steel bars. Use them as a trellis. Take advantage of the space that you have and grow your herbs and vegetables in any kind of area. Now, in the state of Florida where I am, it's important that you also consider pests, because we live in the tropics. Let's be honest, Mo. We know we have big bugs.
Yes, big bugs.
big bugs. So we have to keep in mind that we don't want to use pesticides or fungicides or all the things in our personal gardens that's in the commercial gardens and in our grocery stores, because that's what's waking up the cancer cells. And with cancer and diabetes being at epidemic proportions in this world, we have to make a difference. And how do we do that? By making a stamp on the earth about our own garden, make our own food grow, eat from our own food and know where it came from. And you'll have the best nutritionally dense diet that you can ever imagine. So with that said, I've taken cinder blocks, simple cinder blocks, and stacked them up too high and made L shapes and built gardens in my yard along my fence with cinder blocks, simple, not very costly. They're about 60 cents a block at Home Depot, and voila. So it's not even something real expensive. You can even find free in many places wood pallets. And these